So this is going to be a reprise of an earlier idea, this one. So it's going to be one of these interlocking Mobius shapes, and I can't really adequately explain why I find them so interesting, but I do. So that's what we're going to do. Right, I'm going to select each side of this and mirror it, and what I'm going to do is create a rod, and we're going to use the bend command to create the shape instead. So create yourself a rod, select the entire object, select the vertexes, and then right click, deform, and I'm going to twist it along its z-axis. So I need to twist it a specific amount, so I hit tab and enter 90 degrees. So I've put a 90-degree twist in this. The next challenge then is to bend this so that these two faces line up exactly. Right, I've got the orientation in terms of the twist fine, so they're going to match in that respect. So the next thing to do is to make it into a ring. So if I go to the right click and bend command, I select this edge here as being the rod center, and then I select the rod end after I've confirmed that with a right click. So it's now asking me for the rod top. So the instructions appear in this left hand corner, so select that and right click, and then finally the normal. To achieve this, I'm going to select this edge, and you can see the normal lines pointing that way. So what I'm going to do is select the other edge opposite, and that'll place the normal at 90 degrees to that. So if I just rotate round, you can see it's pointing out that way. So right click to confirm that, and in this direction it's going a bit small. So on this side, because of the position of the initial rod center, it's compressing it, and this one it's making appropriate shape. So I'll look in the top left hand corner, that's a minus 180 degrees will be my appropriate setting for that. So tab minus 180 to give me exact results. Select the entire object, right click and weld, and it should weld those four corners together and they light up. So the faces have been welded together. Now it's a matter of following the process. So if I select one of these edges here and press L for loop, you can see that it's looped all the way around the outside. Right click and bevel. I'll just bevel it, I don't know, an arbitrary amount. Right click and extrude, normal. So just extrude it like so, again an arbitrary amount, and then I shall use shell extrude, normal, and create a strip that's going to run around the outside, and it's a separate object. If you can't see the geometry graph, go to Windows and click on Geometry Graph. I'm going to use the geometry graph to hide the new bit and just work on this old bit. So select the edge tool, select one of these edges and press G to take it all around the shape, and then L for loop, and just keep pressing L until it's chopped all these segments up, so that this can now be separated using the loop cut command, and just run your mouse around. You can see you've got separate segments. So at this point what I'm going to do is get rid of some of these bits of cross section. I'll do this by selecting individual faces, so like that one, that one, that one, that one, working my way around the shape, just completing it with every other one. So it's a little bit of a fiddly process, but you'll see the results in a few seconds. That's why I didn't create too many elements in this, because it can be quite time consuming otherwise if you're taking this approach. There are other approaches you can take. Right, so if I now change this to the vertex tool and go plus and hit delete, I now have all these separate bits, which is fine, and then I can bring in my original selection, select the entire object and weld it together, so it should join up in all those places. And now if I select the entire object and use smooth, I can tidy it up a bit and make it look nice for rendering. So there you go, a fairly swift process to create one of these shapes, and a little bit different in that it uses the bend command and starts with a rod. Okay then, that's the end of the video. Hope you found that interesting, and you'll have a go at generating one of these shapes in Wings 3D.